Yo, what's good, traders? Hopefully you've all been having a great trading day. It's Thursday night and it's only right for me to jump straight back into the charts. So without further ado, let's get into the breakdown. Gold, it's a shock. It's been really it's turned into a type of gold breakdown series, so this is what I'm really just gonna kind of go ahead and run with for the time being, especially since gold is one of the main pairs that I trade, and I think I'm very good at trading gold and reading the price action. I think that helps. It also will help a few of you who actually go ahead and watch the video. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy. If you haven't already though, make sure to go ahead, like, comment and subscribe, and turn the notification bell on. Go watch my previous video, I will link it up here as well. But with that all out the way, let's go straight back into the breakdown. Now, gold definitely has been in this downtrend. I think that there is signs of somewhat of a trend change on the microstructure. However, if you still really go ahead and look at macro structure, we are definitely still bearish. And even though it is counter trend trading from what I was called in my last video, if you see here, I was kind of saying that the smaller structure or the smaller time frames were in fact breaking out. So we did have a breaker structure here, as you can see. That breaker structure was basically saying that we was likely to maybe get pulled back into this 1805 area before making a continuation to maybe test up higher. We did actually test up into the 1850s, and now this is where we currently are. So we are currently at 1840 with price action looking likely for a pullback, though if we was to actually draw a fib on our daily, we can see that there are still some bearish signs in play. It's lining up with a 618, which again is something to be wary of, as well as this being a prior level of support now turned into resistance. So there are confluences along with the moving average crossover to say gold is in fact still bearish on higher time frames, though that doesn't mean that there isn't chances or there isn't a bottom priced in. And I know I don't really like to say in trading, I think it's taboo to say bottoms or trying to price or catch the bottom, though with gold there are some telltale signs, and this is coming from years of experience. I've traded gold pretty much constantly, like hardcore, since like 2019, so I noticed particular things, especially with like reversals on higher time frames, which I'm going ahead and going to break into now. So just quickly, if we look at the daily, this is my PR level, and the reason why I just map out this is my PR level is simply because if we go on to our daily, we can see that over the course of these, how many months now, since December last year, so really, let's just call it 6 months, really nearly 7 months. So for the past 7 months, we have had many reactions out of this zone. So since we have reactions in and out or in and around these areas, if we see strong signs of price coming in, tapping into it, and then strongly impulsively wicking away, I would say that shows some huge signs of strength. And to me, this is what I would call my demand area. It's a little bit different from support and resistance. Now really, I've got a whole another video for this, which I'm not going to get into, though if you do want to see that, go ahead and drop a comment, or I'll just put it in the description below. But really, when I go ahead and sorry, tongue tied, if I go ahead and drop down onto the weekly, here are examples of this particular finding the bottom in gold. So really, you see these impulsive wicks tapping into these levels and then strongly just reacting away, or just reacting off these levels. And I think that this has potentially happened for gold here at 1790. I'm just going to call it the round number. Now if we go ahead and drop onto my previous video, you can kind of just see where I was saying that microstructure had actually breached its prior structure, so we got a break of structure, and I felt that with this clearing and making a new high, kind of showed signs of strength on the smaller time frames. Now I felt that it was likely to maybe get a retest back into the 1805 level before making the next leg up. And if we just go and drop onto the 4 hour, we can actually see this kind of playing out. Now, what are my stances in the sense where I'm kind of looking at taking positions? Well, if we really start dissecting the charts, some people don't like doing it, but I like drawing trend lines on smaller time frames. I think smaller time frame trend lines are valid and they do work. Everyone's of course different, though this is how I really like to do my technical analysis. So we did have multiple touches of this trend line. Now I feel that it's likely to maybe see a retest into 1830. If we just draw a little fib here as well, we can actually see that it lines up with a 0.5 fib. So again, it's a nice little retracement to maybe potentially see another leg up into this 1890 area, maybe even to see 1900. So 1900 shiny metal would be a good start to potentially see 2k. And that would be fantastic. I've always been very, very bullish on gold, though for the time being you got to trade with the market structure and you got to trade with the trend, and the trend was telling me that gold was definitely bearish, though there are signs now, especially on the smaller time frames, that we are maybe seeing somewhat of a bottom priced in, and now buy side momentum is kind of coming into the game. Now again, this is not financial advice, this is just my own personal opinions, so don't take what I say as personal, or don't take what I say as financial advice, but I really would be looking at taking buys in gold around about here. I'll have maybe like 7.5 pip stops, and I will be targeting 18, well, the -1 fib for 1892, maybe even 1900 depending. So it's looking like a 9R if it actually does come and touch into this level. And what I would do is I'll wait for some respections of this area, moving average potentially crossing over before going ahead and taking the trade. Another little confluence what I'd go ahead and saw was this break and retest of this descending trend line. Now this kind of descending trend line, and now we have this ascending trend line, we do kind of have this kind of what I like to call T flag, and the T flag is really just having a trend line break and then you get a new established trend line. It just looks like a type of, well you can see it kind of looks like a T as somewhat, but yeah, this is what I'm really kind of looking. I'm waiting for gold to do something like this to then go ahead and take buys. But this was going to be a short and sweet video, but hopefully you found it helpful, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.